Good morning, everyone. Happy early Mother's Day. I know it's Mother's Day weekend, and some of you are probably excited. Mother's Day can also be incredibly emotional for those of you who maybe are missing your mom today, or you're not able to be with your kids. So wherever you are, virtual hugs, and happy Mother's Day. So drop in the comments where you're tuning in from today. I'm super excited to see where all of our friends are from, and I'm going to share with you a few tips today. Short call. No Guts, No Story is every single Saturday morning at 9 a.m. And I have had some that I haven't been able to be on. But what I wanted to tell you today is you can manifest anything you dream of, absolutely anything you dream of, if you use these simple steps. So today is Mother's Day weekend. Happy Saturday. We'll give everybody a few minutes to jump on here, and then we are going to get things rolling. So how to get absolutely anything you want. I've been reading a great book. I've been listening to a lot of good stuff. I don't know how many of you listen to good stuff every day, or maybe you're on your favorite YouTuber, or maybe you have an author that you love. Some of you have a life coach. I don't know where you get your cup filled from, but I will tell you, I have a lot of favorites. And if you could see, I have floor-to-ceiling bookshelves on both sides, the entire basement, the entire attic. The one thing I think my kids will probably fight over someday when I die is all of my books and all of my journals, because I've really made it a lifelong journey of personal growth and just always trying to get better. And I love the Saturday No Guts, No Story calls, and now they're lives. I used to do them on a call. Started in like 2006. Then it started to be a Facebook Live, and now, thanks to technology, we can be everywhere. Right now, we're on YouTube, on Facebook. I have an author page. My husband and I have a team building page, and it's a great way to just get together every Saturday morning for a shot in the arm, completely generic training. I have friends in tons of different companies and a lot of different careers. One of my biggest fans is my sister, and she is a realtor. And it's funny because I find that we're listening to the same stuff. We're following the same things. Sometimes we find the same planner or the same quote. These are not anything that's new. A lot of the life principles, when you really read personal development books, believe it or not, a lot of it comes from the Bible, which is the greatest book that's ever written, right? So you have all these philosophers that on their journey, they're growing, they're learning, they're training, they're teaching, but it all really comes back to the basics. What goes in must come out. You know, if you think about how to manifest anything in life, in the Bible, it says, ask and you shall be given. It says, seek and ye shall find. It says a lot of things that people just take for granted, but it really is a promise from the good book. And so I know that sometimes, and I would tell you, get a little rubber band, like a ponytail holder that's tight. Every time you feel a dominating thought coming on that doesn't serve you, snap it. Dave and I did a lot of seminars. We did boot camps for probably 10 years straight, every summer, and then a New Year's retreat in January. And at those boot camps and New Year's retreats, we always taught the same exact thing. And some people would say, my gosh, but I've already been there. I've already heard it. But the reality is, to know and not to do is not to know. And some of you have been hearing these things over and over again. You know what to do. I don't know why you don't do it. But how to manifest anything you want really comes down to a few simple steps. You have to control your thoughts, because sometimes you have fears that will actually manifest the very thing that you're afraid of. And I can tell you multiple stories, but one that I think of that really was a wake-up call for me. When I was pregnant with when I was first becoming a mama, I was carrying Brooklyn, and my mom owns an RV park here in our little town, Russell, Kansas. It's just a dot on the map. It's funny because I was on a plane this week and someone said, oh, you're from Kansas, like Kansas City. And I'm like, no, it's 4.5 hours from Kansas City, Missouri, and 5 from Denver. It's just a little bitty podunk town. But my mom owns an RV park right there on I-70. And behind that RV park, I had a friend that I grew up with all of my childhood. Her dad did a lot of my dad's mechanic work. My dad wouldn't buy me a car, but they helped me get a 1966 Mustang when I was 14 years old, and I got 2 waitressing jobs. Shout out to my mom for teaching me a work ethic. And this thing didn't have any tires on it. It didn't have any wheels. It was rusted out. but my dad had an old coupe that was candy apple red, and I always thought that was the coolest color. So I went one day with my dad, we looked at swatches of paint colors, and I picked this bright fire engine red. It was a 1966 289 Mustang, and this guy, his name's Dave Kuhn, he redid this car for me, and every week I would take my tips from where I worked at the Boot Hill Cafe and then Merides, and I would waitress, and I did Red's Chicken House too. I had 3 sometimes, but 2 for sure. And I was teaching dance at the rec center, and I just had this dream and this goal that I was gonna have this fire engine red hot car, right? And I got it. I mean, this thing it looked beautiful. And I manifested that because every single day I would look at this picture of this 1966 Mustang with this hot girl in it, right? And when you're 14, you want the hottest car and you want it to be something that everybody thinks is so cool. Well, the problem was it was in 1966 and the linkage would stick. And so I would be shifting, through the gears, going down Main Street. We had this cool brick Main Street. And I would go down Main Street, shifting through the gears, and the linkage would get stuck in like neutral. So I'm revving it up, but it's not going. All the high school kids are honking behind me. Some of you have no idea what dragging Maine is like. I'm dating myself here, but it would be so embarrassing. I would jump out, push my car in neutral, or crawl under it in my little teenage mini skirt, right? Find the linkage, and I'm like yanking on it, trying to get it to go into gear. And then I would get back in and pop the clutch, and away I would go in this 1966 Mustang. Dave and I still laugh about it because this gentleman that painted it for me, he had a daughter that was close to my age, and we were pregnant at the same time. So we were good friends, right? And I had moved with Dave to Great Bend, which was just about 45 minutes from our little hometown, but I would come and see my mom all the time because Dave worked construction, and he was gone Monday through Friday, plowing fiber optic cable for like Sprint, United Telephone, Southwestern Bell, whatever. And he would leave on Monday, get home on Friday night. So I would come and see my mom at her RV park, and my friend and I would walk. And we were pregnant together. We had big dreams, big goals. And I remember the most devastating thing happened. And you guys, I was so healthy. I was teaching dance. I was exercising. I wasn't that big. And I remember my friend got sick with a very rare disease. And that very rare disease was called toxemia help syndrome. And it was so devastating. She delivered the baby, then she lost her life. And it was so devastating to me that it's the only thing that I could think about. I remember I literally went to church and had people lay hands and pray on me that I would be healthy, right? But to pray something and have a dominating thought that's the opposite only manifests what you absolutely don't want. So you have to be really careful when you're praying, when you're thinking, what you're saying. Your words have so much power. And so Dave was gone. He was on the road for the week, but not too far out of town one day. And I remember that Sunday we went to church, and I couldn't get my shoes on, but I finally got them on. And then during church, it was like my feet were just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I was not due for about two months maybe. And, the crazy thing is my biggest fear came to fruition, and I ended up having some really bad back pains. And the next thing I knew, I was being life watched. I mean, I was so healthy. I had this Oriental doctor that was going to deliver this baby, and I wasn't going to have any stitches. I was going to keep on dancing. I was a dancer, a dance teacher. And, I was cutting hair. I was like, I'm not going to miss a beat. And the next thing I know, I'm life watched in a trauma unit with 9 doctors trying to save my life from a rare disease that at the time they said only 1 in 250,000 women would ever get this. Now, you guys, I want to tell you something. It gets crazier. I was there for about 4 days. I delivered this baby. They tried to induce me, but my blood pressure was so high. It was 240 over 120, and my eardrums burst. I was having to lay on my side. I couldn't hear anything. And they take this emergency C-section baby. She's about 4 pounds, 11 ounces at a week old. You can't believe how tiny this little girl was. Absolute miracle. She made me a mom. Like that, it's absolutely the greatest gift I've ever had in my life is becoming a mom. And I will tell you, if you are a mom, you know that feeling, right? So our fears, our thinking, our thoughts, our dominating vibrations that we have every single day, whether it's lack of or abundance, whether it's healthy or sick, whether it's being loved or being abused, whether it's being successful or failing, whether it's being clean or being an addict, whether being drunk or being sober, whether being attractive or being ugly. People who get 10 face surgeries will still look in the mirror and want to change something because their dominating thought is they are not beautiful. And what we have to do is change our beliefs. Focus on what we want and not what we don't want. That's how you manifest everything you want in life. Well, my entire family was there at the hospital. And so what do you think? I mean, I have pictures of both of our moms looking through the window when this new baby's born, just tears streaming down their face. Of course they had fear, thinking the worst. And my sister was there as well. But then every single person in our family is vibrating on the same frequency, right? Like fear travels. News that's negative travels. And my first cousin, who lived 4 hours away from me, was working as an OBGYN nurse, and she was pregnant. Her little baby was going to be born in December. So we were going to have a Halloween and a Christmas baby. Well, I got dismissed from the hospital on a Tuesday. And I was just walking in the door of our home with a little kangaroo carrier with my baby in it, and the phone rang. And I answered it, and my first cousin was being life watched to Wesley Medical Center, where she would deliver a 1-pound baby, little baby boy, same exact disease. You guys, this is what's happening in America right now, in my opinion. And I'm not going to talk about politics, but if you are listening to the news, if you are drinking the Kool-Aid, if you are living in fear, if you are constantly digging up the muck and the negative and everything that you don't want to happen, you're going to manifest that right into your life. As a nation, as a world, we manifest what we think about, what we talk about, and what we're afraid of every single day. So I'm only 50, right? I'm not that old, but I've learned that you have got to control your thoughts, control your mind, control your fears, and only focus, only put in your mind, only put on paper, only speak to your friends, only discuss when you're with family, only talk about what you want, and absolutely never talk about what you don't want. I don't care if you have to bite your tongue off. If it's not good, don't say it. If it's not what you want, don't even think it, because every single thought is a prayer. Every thought is a prayer, and every single prayer is answered. Might not always be how you want it answered, but as you think it, so it will be. As a man thinketh, so is he. So we've really got to control our thoughts. My husband wrote the most amazing book. It's called The Thinking Cure. It's about this thick. You can read it on a plane ride. It's the most powerful information that I've probably ever been taught. But you always have Mr. Success and Mr. Defeat on your shoulders every single day. One's telling you, you can do it, you're going to be amazing. The other one's saying, don't get your hopes up. Who are you to think that you can do that? You better be careful. Don't trust anybody. They're all jokers. Men will only cheat on you. Business people will only, steal from you. Like, there's certain things that you've had maybe happen in your life that are constant dominating thoughts. It's just like the chatterbox stuck in your ear all the time. And when you think those things, that's why people get in the same bad relationship. That's why people get in the same bad business deals. That's why people end up in the same financial situation. You can give somebody $1 million from the lottery and they can be broke a year from now. You can have a young kid that makes it to the NFL, gets $500,000 his first month, right? If he does not have the right thinking and the right conditioning, he will be broke a year later. And so it's really, really important that we learn how to manifest what we want, not what we don't want. Now, I will tell you guys, money doesn't flow into the hands of a fool. It doesn't flow into the hands of a fool, right? And love doesn't come from anybody who doesn't first love themselves. So you have to block out everybody around you, first of all. Sit down, just you, and say, without any influence on me, as far as what I would want, what I would want to do, who I would want to become, what do I really, really want? What do I really, really want? Because see, what I really want isn't necessarily to be an author. What I really wanted wasn't necessarily to be a top network marketer. What I really wanted wasn't to own several businesses or properties. What I really want is to be free, do what I want, when I want, whenever I want, and have the money to pay for it. I want to be a light. I want to be that person that if I run into you, you feel better when I leave than you did before we ended up in the same room together. I want to leave a legacy that someday when I'm not here, my little granddaughter or grandsons will say, that was my grandma. Go look her up. This is what she did. This is what she taught me. Here's the book she gave me. This is the journal she wrote in. These are the pictures we took. This is the experience we had. I only think about how I make people feel and the mark that I'm going to leave on this life. I don't think I want to be the greatest network marketer, the most powerful woman network marketer. No, I don't need the title. I want the freedom. And I think sometimes you are all in jobs, or you're in relationships, or you're in situations where you're doing what you're doing. You're going through the motions because you think you know what your goal is, but really, what is the end result? What is the end result? Because if what I was doing was going to give me a ton of stress, toxic people, not feeling good, I wouldn't really care about all the money. I'd rather just go be with my family in a little cabin on the lake instead of maybe a suite at Disney World for a week, right? So you yourself have to get very, very clear on your own intentions. And when I say your own intentions, really examine your beliefs. Because sometimes your intentions are to get even with someone. You know, I got to get this company to $1 million a month because I'm going to show them people. And those people that think like that, I mean, it's great if that motivates you to make somebody eat their words. But if your intention is only to do something to someone else, usually you don't attract all good, right? You're just constantly ending up in another situation with another dream stealer that you have to show that they're going to have to eat their words. See, what you attract is more people trying to pull you down and steal your dream. So get very, very clear. What is it that you want and why you want it? I'll tell you another great story. I owned a company for about a decade. It was a debt-free company, an amazing company. We had a great comp plan. We had amazing people. And I had an opportunity come to me. Hindsight's 2020, but at the time, it seemed like a great opportunity. Some people told me, you know, you're in a small town. You're already $1 million in 90 days. You know, you're a debt-free company. You've been around for 8 or 9 years. You're kind of like steady and solid. But if you team up with us, we're in 56 countries. No, they weren't really. That was just their tout. But it sounded good, right? And I was like, I don't know, you know, nah, we're pretty good. I was pretty comfortable. And then they came back to me again and they said, but we could take your products and change so many people's lives. We have 150,000 distributors. That sounded kind of good. But then I was like, nah, because I had blood, sweat, and tears in this company that I had built, right? And I remember I called my mentor and I said to him, I don't really know what to do. And he said, why is it? I said, well, Dave's the president. I'm the vice president. It's an opportunity. I don't really know if it's a good opportunity or not. We're not getting any money up front. We're only getting royalties based on what we go there and build. But we wouldn't have the stress. We wouldn't have, you know, to work at the office every day. We could go travel and do whatever we wanted to do. Our kids were all in their senior years and entering college sports. Chance was just getting ready to go to K-State football. And I remember he said to me, get out of your office and go walk down that road out by your house and just soak up some vitamin E. He said, what do you really want? Because he said, sometimes people are attached to their title. People are attached to their address. People are attached to their company name or that product that they formulated or the delivery system that they had or their spokesperson or their fame, you know, what they have on Instagram or Facebook. He said, ultimately, what do you want? And I thought for a minute and I said, I just want to go have fun with my kids. I want to be at all their games. I want to travel the world. I want to make memories with them. I want to be completely debt-free. What I really wanted was security. I just wanted to know that I would never have to worry. My distributors would be taken care of, that we would be taken care of. And he said, you know, go walk. And he said, I'll tell you something. You can never make a wrong decision. Do what feels good. And he said, woman's intuition is almost never wrong. And I remember telling Dave, I don't know. I don't know. I feel kind of weird about it. But then this guy was so persistent. He kept coming and coming and coming. And one day we decided to take our little debt-free company. It wasn't a giant company, but it was amazing. And we teamed up with some people. And I remember at the time thinking, okay, I mean, you know, sometimes you're in a boardroom with a bunch of guys and they're all telling you the pros and cons. And I'm definitely not an analytical person. I do have common sense though, right? I'm not that smart. I was a C student, but I owned a company that did $1 million in 90 days hiring A students that were a lot smarter than me, like Henry Ford. You don't have to know everything, but at the end of that phone, you can find someone that knows the answer. That's what smart people do, right? They find someone better than them. They don't have an ego and they put those people in charge. Well, let me tell you guys something. My mentor was right. You can never make a wrong decision, but if you make a decision that doesn't fit, you'll learn a lot of life lessons, right? So, I mean, I worked like crazy. Oh my goodness, I went to work. We started over with no income, built our way up. A year and a half later, I was at $120,000 a month in commissions. And it's not the money that you make, you guys. It's the person that you become in the process. I was back in the trenches, missing Chance's birthday, missing his last baseball game, missing Kelly's, dance performance. It definitely wasn't congruent with my core values. And I knew it wasn't congruent with my core values. And things were happening at these meetings that were definitely not congruent. Like my mentor taught me never drink with your downline. Like alcohol's only going to bring out another side of people that, good things happen when people are in a clear mind. Anything that's a mind altering substance, don't do it. First meeting I went to, everyone smashed. There's a casino night. Girls are in their lingerie and the husbands are all in the room. I'm just like, what in the world have we just done? And I just knew, right? And what I wanted to manifest was a good feeling. I wanted bliss. I wanted to be back to that good feeling that I had before I made the wrong decision, right? And the thing about it is, guys, we're all on a journey. I have a great book on my bookshelf over here called The Soul Plan. Your kids aren't going to do everything you want them to do. Your coworkers aren't going to do everything you want them to do. Your own mom or dad might not do everything that you want them to do. But the reality is God created us all with a purpose on this planet, and we don't get to write that book. We have the pen of the outcome of the decisions that we make. He has a purpose in everything that is meant to be to harm us. Not to harm us, but to prosper us and give us hope in a future. And what I learned during that chapter of my life is everything I didn't want. Maybe you guys are in a relationship and it's everything that you don't want. You're learning what you don't want, so you will have gratitude and appreciate what you want. It's been a heck of a decade. I will tell you guys, it's been a heck of a decade. From 25 to 40, Dave and I experienced a lot. We experienced a lot of challenge, then a lot of growth, then down, then up even higher, then down, then up even higher, then down. And then at the height of our career, when I thought everything was amazing, it was like down, 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 down. I wondered if I would just be like, oh, those were the glory days, or if God would ever just create that sudden shift that I kept trying to attract that I couldn't attract. Now, let me tell you guys what will stop it. I was in a business with people where the constant conversation was always about them bad people, those bad people. It was always about everything we didn't want. And you can never get a company from here to here when every conversation is discussing other people, right? Really amazing, successful people, they don't discuss other people. They discuss opportunity. They discuss ideas. They discuss solutions, not problems. They're not constantly down there digging in the muck. They're always building people up. Like, smash the heart button if you just wish you could be surrounded by a whole bunch of people that think like you do. Like, what if everyone around you could wake up every day and say, good things are going to happen for me today. It's going to be an amazing day. My business is going to explode. I'm going to meet great people. My kids are all going to be happy and healthy and successful. And all the conversations I have today are going to be positive. I just can't wait for the day. No, most people wake up and they're like this. I dread tomorrow. I wish it was a 3-day weekend. I don't want to go back to work on Monday. I don't want this. I don't want that. And the whole focus always is on everything that people don't want instead of what they want. So let's say that you're in a position like I was a few years back where you've lost an income, or maybe you've been laid off, or maybe because of this pandemic, things are different in your business. What you have to do is say things, even if you're broker than broke, you say, money is coming at me from all directions. I have no idea where it's coming from. I just accept it. You literally look at your overdrawn bank account and say, wow, I am amazed at the way I am attracting finances right into that account. Like, you've got to subconsciously imagine what you want and say it and think it and dream it and believe it to the point that even if it's the craziest dream in the world, it can happen for you. Now, I will tell you guys, I have been wanting to wake up on a lake, be with Dave on a lake, be retired on a lake, be on a boat. Like, that's all I've been saying for a lot of years. 3 years ago, I bought him his dream boat, right? The lake flooded. We could never go on the lake. Then 2 summers ago, lo and behold, some pandemic closes the lake. Like, you can't even go outside and be on a boat around people. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. We were quarantined here. It was the best 53 days of my life. Thank you, 2020. I had all of my family in this house for 53 days. I will always cherish those memories, but we couldn't go to the lake that's 15 minutes from us because nobody was allowed on the lake. So then in August, we booked a lake house. And I remember going there and saying, I want to buy a lake house. And I didn't want it to be on all the windy roads, but that's what you have to do when you go in Missouri or Oklahoma. It's like windy roads forever. And sometimes you feel like you're in a scary horror movie by the time you finally get to the cabin, right? But here where we live, it's just a hop, skip, and a jump. We have the clearest water, most beautiful lake, but they don't allow houses to be on the water. So I would wake up every day and I would look every day and I would be on Zillow. I told my little sister that's a realtor one day, I said, I will buy through you whatever I can do if I could find something in this state. But I get on Zillow every day for like 3 hours, and every time I find something I like, boom, it sells. And I remember her saying, if you're on Zillow for 3 hours a night, you need to get a second job. But you know what, guys? Here's the secret. If you're more focused on your dreams and working on yourself and your personal development and your goals than you are on the how. See, the why you're doing it is over here, and the how you do it really doesn't even matter. People get so screwed up trying to wait till they're good at it, until they have a new skill, until they have a degree, until their conditions are right, until they have a great husband, until they save enough money to have kids, whatever. I'm telling you, when you focus on the feeling, it is like magic. You will manifest the craziest things in your life. Dave and I were in a bankruptcy in 1996. 2 babies, 1 on the way. We had a landlord. This lady was crazy. Bless her soul. She would end up in my kitchen asking me what I was doing in her house. I swear, this is a true story. I would be warming a bottle in my t-shirt and underwear, breastfeeding one, bottle feeding the other, and I got some lady, who are you and what are you doing in my house? I remember my only dream was to get my own house and not have to rent from a landlord, and especially not one that bless her heart, had dementia and didn't remember she had rented her house to us. And then she would go in the closets and ask me where all of her stuff went and if I stole all of her stuff or sold it. And I remember every day writing on a note card. We had just joined our first network marketing company together, and I said, it feels so good to wake up in my own house. But the reality was I had horrible credit, no down payment. There's no way I was going to be able to get a loan. I had 2 cars repossessed. I had checks that were bouncing. And I mean, if I did get a house, it would have been dumped, right? But my dream was a colonial house with huge columns on the front, 2 stories, a big stairway, chandeliers. I mean, I had a Volkswagen budget, but I wanted the Cadillac, right? One thing I had was a work ethic, and my dreams were so, so big. So I had this picture everywhere. It feels so good to win. It feels so good to be financially free. It feels so good to not be renting. I love waking up in my own home. And one day, you guys, I went to get a haircut. And my friend Cheryl, who was my first mentor when I owned salons. I worked for her for about 90 days. And then I remember my grandpa said, you know, in life, you're either going to be building your dreams or you're going to be buying someone else's. He said, you need to own your own salon. And I said, me? How could I ever own my own salon? And he said, just say, it feels so good to be so busy and own my own salon, right? So this girl, Cheryl, she still cut my hair even though I had my own salon, manifested that. And I went to get my hair cut and she said, you know, I'm dating a guy and he's going through a divorce and he has a 7-bedroom house and they're going to not be able to keep the house. She said, I know that you've been always in love with this big 2-story house look. It's always been on your dream board. She said, I told him about you and I wondered if you wanted to come look at it. And you guys, I remember thinking like, this is too good to be true. Like, this is the weirdest thing. It was almost like magic. I wrote it down and it happened. And we literally bought a house with no money down, bought it on contract. It was one of the most beautiful homes in our little town. Dave redid every stitch of woodwork. It had columns on the inside, columns on the fireplaces, multiple fireplaces, big parquet doors that opened. It was the most beautiful dream home, and I didn't even have to have a down payment or a bank. How do things like that happen? The same way, our car was repossessed. We went to a convention. The speaker on the stage said, if you want to manifest your dreams, get yourself in the picture. You go dream building and put yourself in the picture. So here we are. National Convention, Chicago, Illinois. My car had been repossessed. I was borrowing my mom's. Dave and I didn't have 2 pennies to rub together, but we had really big dreams and goals. And there was this Q45 Infiniti. Well, we were walking through the parking lot and Dave said, you want your picture, don't you? I said, let's just get a picture of the car. And I think this is before security systems, because then I remember saying, no, we need to have someone else take the picture and we need to be in it. And the next thing you know, I'm not just in the picture, like I'm on the car. Like Dave said, she was sprawled out like Tawny Katan in the Whitesnake video. And he's like, I figured we were going to get arrested. But you guys, we got home in August. And in November, we got a letter from our company that said, we can't wait to start making your car payments. We claim you for life. Thank you for all of your hard work. You know, congratulations. And we went in a showroom and bought a $65,000 Q45 Infiniti and never, ever made a payment on it. It was paid for. We attracted it. We manifested it. But most people would say, the damn bank took my car. They wouldn't say, I made dumb decisions I couldn't afford and couldn't make my payment. It's always the blame game. The bank's fault, my boss's fault, the dumb, stupid economy's fault. We're going to blame the president. We're going to blame the Congress. We're going to blame this party or that party. You guys, it's us that is creating. We're co-creating everything that happens in our life. And we can manifest a healthy husband, a great vehicle, a new home, a successful business, the weight that we want to weigh. One time, I was heavier than I had ever been, and I tried it with weight management. And on my phone, I put a picture. We were in Fort Lauderdale. I stood behind one of those stand-up things where you put like your face, and then it had a girl in a bikini, and she was in a thong. And I remember that was my screensaver. And it said, it feels so good to be skinny and fit. And I had just delivered a baby. I was far from skinny and fit. And I had had 3 babies in 4 years, all C-sections, a lot of scarring, a lot of ruined stomach, you could say. I looked nothing like I wanted to look, but in my subconscious mind, every day, what did I see the most? This is when cell phones were new. Every day, all I saw was this skinny girl looking exactly how I wanted to look. And you guys, I lost more weight than I had ever lost in my life, healthy weight loss, and I kept it off for a long time. Do you know when you start to gain weight, when you say, I hate the way I look? Do you know when you start to not have a business, when you say, all of my people are lazy, nobody does anything, this is so stressful? When you're not grateful, you get exactly what you're talking about every single day. Gossip is my biggest pet peeve. If you show me a leader that talks shit on another woman, I will show you a leader that's not going to be at the top very long. Show me a guy with an ego that thinks he's the greatest, latest, whatever, and always has to be dominating, and I'll show you a guy that won't have a team for very long. You've got to humble yourself, or God will do it for you. And I have been humbled over and over and over again. That's why I never really boast. I'm very careful to ever even share when I have a success unless it involves other people. I will tell you, I thought every day about being in a company where all of the leaders could be successful. I thought every day about the freedom, being able to be with my kids and have fun and retire with Dave on a lake. And I thought about this and I made good decisions, right? You've got to stop making the same poor decisions. Live below your means. Save for a rainy day. When your checks go up, don't go spend it all. Don't buy stupid things to impress people you don't like who don't care anyway. That's the definition of status. Manifesting what you want means it's just you looking in the mirror saying, I am enough. I can be, I can do, I can have anything I dream of. Saying it feels so good to be healthy. It feels so good to be successful. Around, be very, very careful what you read, what you listen to, and who you hang around. Ask yourself, who am I hanging around? What are they doing to me? And is this okay? And if it's not, get yourself some new friends. Some of you say, well, I have to work with them. Great. Work with them from a distance. Some of you say, well, I'm related to them. Some of you say, this is my neighbor. This is what it, well, here's the reality, you guys. You can love people from a distance. You can filter what goes in and what goes out. You are the one that is controlling your environment. And if it's not a good environment, change your environment. Every morning for about the last year, I tell Dave, I would love to wake up on a lake. I would love to be so far away from here with you. I would love to be in a new area. And obviously, we have a traditional business, multi-million-dollar business, entire warehouse. I'm the oldest of 5, 60 people at every Easter or Christmas, and we're kind of one of the anchors that hosts a lot of that. It's not like I can just go move across the country, like, see you later, because what is my core value? I love my family. Family is most important. But I do want to raise my vibration. Different environment, different people, different address, right? Bliss. What do you love to do? If you want to feel better, if you want to manifest good things, go turn on your favorite song. Go do your favorite thing. You love to fish, you love to hunt. Go do more of that, because when you feel good, write this down. Feel good now. When you feel good now, you will manifest every single thing you ever dreamed of, almost like a genie in a bottle. I am not kidding you. Because when you feel good, you have gratitude. God blesses you because you're already grateful for what you have instead of complaining about everything you don't have. He's trying to bless you. He's trying to give you everything you've ever dreamed of. And you're like something that just repels it, just bounces it back when you're not connected to this all love, all source, which is him, right? And so these are the things that I do on a daily basis. Only think about, talk about, and speak about what you want. And the more you look at it and the more you focus on it, it will come to fruition. Now, I'm not going to tell you what is coming to fruition for me this month on the 31st, because I'm not telling anyone. But it was almost like magic. It was almost like magic. I kept hitting a roadblock. I kept hitting a roadblock. I kept hitting a roadblock. I was so frustrated. One day I told Dave, I'm just going to give up. I'm just going to be stuck here for the rest of my life, every weekend, blah, 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 right? And I had a little pity party, and I remember I even tore my whole dream board down. It's off the wall. Because everything I dreamed of, like our entire family happy at Disney, or taking both of our moms on a trip, or like it seemed like everything I was dreaming of, there was these uncontrollables that would happen where something would just mess up the whole dream. And I love dreaming, but I get really frustrated when I'm trying to do something that is not reasonable. I need something that I know that I can control. So I said, I will be debt-free by my birthday. And I missed it but not by far. And I remember thinking to myself, it was the craziest goal. It was the craziest dream. I remember telling my banker, and he said, how in the world do you think you're going to do that? But every day and every decision I made, I said, it feels so good to be debt free. It feels so good to not have bills. It feels so good to not have loans. And anything we wanted, we would say, we can do that as long as we can pay cash. And you guys, if you want to be debt free, say every single day, it feels so good to be debt free. It feels so good to have all the credit cards paid off. We don't have any credit cards. We haven't since 1996. But if you do have credit cards, make that your goal. It feels so good to have them all paid off. If you want to be healthy, it feels so good to be healthy. And the more times you make the same poor decision, knowing what your potential is, I know I can exercise. I know I can have abs. All my kids have rock solid abs. But every day that I don't work out, it's a belief system for me that I'm never going to work out and I'm probably never going to have abs, right? So you've got to make sure that your beliefs and your core values and the things that are most important to you are part of your goals. Because honestly, if you haven't done it for 10 years, I'm looking at my goals like maybe having a rock solid body is not like one of my top things. It must not be, because I never do the discipline to get it, even though I know it's in the genes and it's there. I could have it, right? But what would make you want something? See, you've got to be moving towards a worthwhile goal, a worthwhile dream. Maybe you want a second home. Maybe you want to take your children on a dream vacation. Maybe you want to send your grandkids to college and have a fun setup for them. Maybe it's a dream wedding, saving up for the dream wedding that you're going to have, or maybe one for your kids or grandkids. Get very clear on something that gets you so excited. You would wake up every morning excited to jump out of bed and go work for that, and make it small enough that you actually believe that it can happen. Because to go and try to do something and not have the belief that it would happen, you're never going to take action. It has to be a belief that you know that you can have. So in closing, let's examine your beliefs. Maybe your beliefs are life is hard. Maybe your beliefs are good things never happen for me. Maybe your beliefs are everything's happening in threes. And so pretty soon you're on number 2, you're going to attract one more bad thing to happen to you. Stop saying that crap. Like, that is not true, because if God is allowing something to happen to you, it's for your own good. You may not see it now, but you will see it. We were on a vacation for Callie's birthday a few weeks back at this lake home that I love. And I was dreaming of going to look at houses, and we were about to make an offer on the one next door. And Dave was alerted that our house was being robbed. And I remember thinking, how in the world why does bad crap happen to us every time we go on a trip, right? I remember being so frustrated, so mad, so angry. And I remember praying the entire way home, like, Lord, what is in this for me? Like, why are you allowing this to happen? Didn't put the offer in on the house, drove all the way home, kind of messed up the end of the trip, dropped Chance off at the airport, completely negative energy happening, got home, didn't want to be in my house, didn't want to stay in my house, didn't feel comfortable in my house. Every time I look at this beautiful back door, just destroyed, glass everywhere, whatever. But I remember calling my life coach that Monday morning, and she said, Barb, you gotta look for the lesson here. Maybe this happened so you would get a security system because your businesses are booming. Maybe this happened so you would be aware that, there could be danger. Thank God nobody was home. And you guys, that week I researched and got the most easy to hook up, amazing. It had 5 stars. It came in the mail. Dave plugged it in. Everything from if a glass shatters, if a fire starts. And I remember thinking, I probably don't need that fire alarm. We have fire alarms. And I remember thinking, do I really need the one that detects glass shattering? And the guy said, if in 2,000 feet there's smoke or a glass that shatters, if you drop a kitchen cup, whatever, you'll have to disable it before the ambulance or cops come. And I remember thinking, okay, well, we always have a chance to disable it. Do you guys believe last Monday, I left a pot on the stove, didn't realize it wasn't turned off. And only because of the bad that happened, I had this new security system that literally alerted the sheriff and the fire. We're still cleaning up smoke. I have my cleaning clothes on today. We've had a disaster service here, stuff all week. Yes, I could be playing the pity party. It sucks. It feels like I ruined my whole entire house. It just smells like a bonfire. It's a lot of stuff. I have a lot of stuff to wipe and clean and have to disinfect an entire house. But thank God the bad happened on April 15th, that I had the security system that manifested that I didn't lose everything, right? You know, you got to quit finding the bad in everything and look for the good. I am so grateful for all of the things that have happened thus far, because I know that God has great things planned for me, right? Not to harm me, but to prosper me. I was so angry that next day. Chance called me on Monday. He goes, Mom, we need to throw a lowball offer at that house before it sells. They're selling so fast. It's the perfect house. We had it all planned out. We spent our whole vacation planning how we would redesign this house and either flip it as an investment or live in it as a vacation home and then Airbnb it. Called the lady. She said, sold it for above asking price right after you guys left town. I was bummed. I wanted to give up. I wrote down, it feels so good to be on the water. It feels so good to find my dream home on the lake. And I'm not going to tell you guys what happened, but almost like magic, when you stay focused on everything you want, it's like the doors just open up. It's like there's a sudden shift where God just says, I'm going to thrust you into this exact chapter you've been designing. And no matter what, we can't get discouraged. If it's one of your children that's maybe going down a wrong path, don't get discouraged. Just keep manifesting and speaking what you want, and don't buy into what the enemy wants you to say, everything that you don't want. If it's your money, if it's your health, if it's your relationship, if it's your business, get away from the negative people, because they're going to suck the life right out of you. Stay away from the toxic relationships. Just leave them toxic. Just let them disassemble and sabotage every bit of their own success, but don't let them manifest that for you. You are enough. You have everything you need to have and be and do anything that you could ever dream of. And I will tell you, if you want to manifest everything you want into your life, every thought's a prayer, every prayer is answered. You do have to work at it. It's not easy. Success is not going to attack you, but it does happen for those who constantly focus on what they want instead of what they don't want. So homework, get a little 3x5 card, just like a little recipe card. Can be small, you know, even this big. And write it as if it's already happened. It feels so good too. And then you write the script. And every single morning and every single night, you look at that. Spend your time on Pinterest or Zillow or with your own realtor or at the car lot or pretending that you're the one signing your book that you authored. Like, spend your time focusing on the feeling. Like my mentor said, walk down the road today, soak up the sun, and focus on the feeling of what you want. Because he told me that day, you will manifest everything that you want. Don't worry about the name of the company. Don't worry about the address. Don't worry about when your boss is going to do it right, or the realtor is going to find the right thing, or the banker is going to approve it, or whatever it is that you're trying to manifest. Just focus on what you want as if it's already happened, and you can literally speak it into fruition. And when you're speaking about it, get that rubber band on your arm, and every time you say something negative, catch yourself, snap it. Some of you will be bleeding by the end of the day, because it's you that's co-creating either everything good or the constant shit show that keeps happening in your life. It's not because you do or don't deserve it, right? Life isn't fair. I'll tell you that right now. I've had a lot of things happen that I don't deserve, but I know that it's probably lessons. It's probably conditioning. It's teaching me everything I need to know and get through so that I can mentor and coach other people that you're going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. Maybe not right now, but everything will be okay. And there's always good. Good always comes to those who truly believe and trust. And you guys, it's the hardest thing to do sometimes, but you just have to keep believing. You have to keep trusting. You have to keep being grateful. And you have to stay focused on the dream. You have to stay focused on every day doing something, just a little bit of something to get you closer and closer and closer to your dreams and goals. So I hope you guys have an amazing Mother's Day. I hope that, you know, I will tell you, our moms are probably the two biggest mentors in our life. Dave's mom is definitely the strongest, boldest, strongest woman I've ever met in my life. And she is mind over matter, manifesting what she wants every day. She is manifesting that she's walking. She wants to manifest that she's driving. And I think I'm probably the biggest dream stealer saying, no, we're never doing that again. But she will manifest everything she wants. She's the most stubborn manifester I've ever seen in my life. And then my mom, my goodness, I look at her and she's everything I want to be when I grow up. That is for sure. She just never stops manifesting, not only for her, but instilling that in her children that, let's do it. You can do it. You can do it constantly, and she loves what she does. That's the thing. Find something that you love and you'll never work a day in your life. But make sure that you're manifesting the things that you want. Don't stay stuck. Don't stay stuck somewhere where every day you're on a low vibration, you're in a negative environment with negative people, no dreams, no hope, no goals. You guys, life is way too short for that. Who knows? Next Mother's Day, we might all tune in, and I guarantee you there will be people that are watching this broadcast that had no idea that it was their last year. Like, this isn't a dress rehearsal. None of us are getting a rerun, right? We need to take massive and immediate action and manifest everything that God has designed for our life. So you guys have an amazing day. Happy Mother's Day. I'll see you next Saturday. Bye, everyone.